Hello my beautiful people, welcome back to my beautiful channel. And this video is very exciting. I have this new hobby and I'm obsessed with it and I cannot stop thinking about it. My whole world revolves around it. Is about books. So many books. I love books. That's what we're gonna be talking about today. Hold on, I gotta bring it back to that side. So, the pile that I just showed you is all of the books that I have read. Okay, so I have another pile. There is 18 books, and this pile is my TBR. We're gonna start with the book that I'm currently reading right now. I got it recently. I got it like 4 days ago, and I started reading yesterday, and this is how far along I got. The thing about this book is that this book is like taller, it's not small, it's like tall. Her book, it's not thicker, it's just bigger. The title of this book is Stalking the Jack the Ripper by Kerri Maniscalco. Compared to like, let's say this book, like it's like a little bit taller, you see, and it's like driving me a little bit crazy. This is the font. It's a good size. It's not like too small or too big. I think it's a good size, and the spacing in between everything is good too. It has like little pictures on some of the chapters. See another picture before the chapter starts. It's good. So far my rating would be 2.5 out of 5 stars. I like the cover. The cover is very pretty. And then this is the back. Very pretty. And then the side is kind of plain, but every side is plain. Okay, next we're gonna start talking about the books that I have not read because I have less of those, surprisingly, which I thought I had more of the books that I have to read. The first book in this pile is The Woman in the Cabin. It's a novel by Ruth Ware. I think that's how you pronounce it. This is how the cover looks. It's a very pretty cover. It's gorgeous. The back is back. Well, there's actually, oh wait, this is a hardcover. This is actually my only book. Oh no, I have another book that has a hardcover on it. I didn't even realize this is a hardcover. Well, there's a story to this book, because it's actually not my book. Well, I actually don't know whose book this is. This book without the cover. It's so cute, so plain and simple. The story about this book is a few years ago, I was organizing my parents' bedroom. I found this book and I asked my mom, I was like, do you read this book? Is this your book? Do you like it? And she was like, no, you can have it. So I took it, and it's been multiple years that I've had this book. I have not read that. I don't know why. Whoa, this is part 1. I'm looking at it right now. This might be my next read. That looks in the front. The book is a little bit damaged. I think it got wet, but it has little marks, it has little indents. It is nice. It's good font, good spacing, good everything. It's not too thick either. It's a decent size. Definitely excited for this. Wow. Okay, so that's the first book that is on my TBR. Second book is Ugly Love. This is also not my book. So yeah, this is my mom's book. Yeah, it's romance. So I kind of have not been in the mood to read her books. I feel like this will be a very fast read. All of the fonts are all the same, I feel like. I mean, some fonts are a little bit different. And it doesn't look like the chapters are gonna be long either, which I personally like. I like this book. Looks like it's gonna be a fast read. Third book I have is Grave Expectations, Alice Bell. I read this book a while ago too. It's a thriller. It's a fiction, actually. I'm sorry, it's a fiction. But it seems very interesting. It's oops. The writing is the same. Now that I'm looking at all these books, I'm wait, maybe I should have read these sooner. But it's okay. So, someone said it's fast, funny, and furious. This book has bags of humor, bags of heart, and a proper murder mystery at its core. So that's very interesting. We love a little murder mystery. The next book that we have is I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce the name of this book. Verity? I'm not exactly sure, if I'm being completely honest. I asked my mother like 5 billion times how to pronounce it, and she told me every single time. And then I still cannot pronounce it right. So, don't judge me. And don't bully me, please, for mispronouncing it. Anyways, it's by Colleen Hoover. It's another like mystery, another like love. Oh, whoa. The print is ginormous. Whoa, I was not expecting that. Let's see how long the chapters are. This is chapter 2, right? We have 1 page, 2 page, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pages before you get to chapter 3. This is what I'm talking about. The book could be like the best book ever, but it has so many pages between chapters. I get bored of it. I don't want to read anymore. I get like tired, and I'm like, ugh. The font seemed very big, so maybe it will be like a fast read. I don't know if I'm gonna read this anytime soon. Colleen Hoover is like the 2 books that I showed you, this one and The Ugly Love. I've had those books for 2.5 years, maybe less, maybe more, but it's something around that. Anytime I finish a book and I go to my TBR, I'm like, I'm not feeling it. But now that I'm looking at it, it's actually like an interesting story. Oh, this is how it looks, but you saw that. The next book is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham. That's her name. The cover is beautiful. I'm like obsessed with the cover. It looks so pretty. I'm like, wow. I read the back of this, and honestly, I'm not sure why I got this book, because it doesn't look like it's like a murder mystery or thriller or anything like that. I guess we'll see when I read this book. The font it's a good size. One thing I'm noticing though that is kind of making me feel like, ooh, it feels like the book got like cut off because it like ends so closely to the bottom of the pages. Like, you see how the top has a lot of space? Like, I feel like it should have had the same thing on the bottom, because now I feel like the book is not fully finished. I'm sure if I start reading it, I'll get used to it, but that's the first thing I've noticed. Pacing is fine. The chapters don't seem like they would have a lot of pages in between each of the chapters. The next book is The Dare by Natasha Preston. I read one of her books recently, and it was actually a really good book. I really liked the read. It was fast, it was interesting. It was a little bit of everything. I really liked it. So I'm very excited to read this book. She has like similar books in the back. I've noticed that she likes to put like the, and then it's haunting, island, fear, lake, twin, and then like there. So, and like all of the covers are really pretty. Like the other book that I read by her, the cover was so beautiful. I was like, oh my gosh. Another thing I've noticed is that she always has, in all of the books that I have seen by her, she has some type of like a rose or some type of flower in the cover. It will get mentioned in the book. The next book that we have is If Only I Had Told Her. It's a romance, and I'm pretty sure that you have to read If He Had Been With Me first. I'm not really sure which book you have to read first, but very pretty. This is how it looks. It's a gorgeous cover, and this is the back. It's very pretty red and everything. The font is a good size in my opinion. The book is a little bit thick. If it has a good story, then it's fine, you know? It says, read how it all started for Autumn and Finn. So I think I do have to read this book first. I mean, I'm not sure. If you guys know, let me know, please. That would help me a lot. Because Memory Keeper's Daughter by Kim Edwards. Oh my gosh, I didn't even say who the other book was by. It was by Laura Nowlin. The funny thing about this book is I brought this book to the beach with me one day during the summer. As soon as I started reading it, I knew I wasn't going to like this book because a few things. I'm like a picky reader. This is a fiction. This is how it looks. It's by Kim Edwards. Not the best condition because this was actually not my book. I found it in my parents' room. The same story. It has small font. The spacing is small, and I believe that when I read it, it was like a lot of pages in between the chapters. So there's 9 pages until you get to chapter 2. And I remember when I started reading this, I was like, no, I cannot read this. I'm a slow reader. When I did start reading it, the story seemed very interesting. So like if I do get to read this book, I think it would be a good read. But I'm just not in that mindset to read that much. And it's like not a thick book either. I'm just like, This book we have is, I got this book recently. It's a very thick book. It's Life After Life by Kate Atkinson. This is how it looks. This is the author. And then this is the back. It's a thriller. In this book, you're living the same day over and over again until you get it right. Like, you're learning something from it, like your growth, your everything. So I'm very excited to read this book. It's a very pretty book, pretty thick. The font I think is great. It's not too small, not too thick. So it doesn't have chapters, it has like the years. Oh my, not years, I'm sorry, months. What am I saying? Oh, okay, so it's, no, it's, whoa, what the? The next book is, it's Enemies by Tijan. Not exactly sure how to pronounce the author's name. It's Enemies to Lovers, and I love some Enemies to Lovers. Enemies to Lovers is just such a I just feel so like happy when I read it. But this is how the cover looks. It's about a football guy and a girl, and this guy is like destroying her life. I don't have anything by this author. I'm just gonna go to the next book, and that is Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. I have multiple books by Penelope Douglas. I found out about this beautiful author because of my friend, my beautiful friend. My friend has been telling me to read this specific book for such a long time, and I was like, yeah, I'll get it, I get it. And then I never got it. In the mood to get that, you know, I just was not feeling it. And last time I was at the bookstore, I got it. It's Secrets, Deception, and Passion consume 2 pen pals in the TikTok sensation from New York Times bestselling author Penelope Douglas. This is how it looks. Very pretty in my opinion. Oh, there's a bonus material here. We were perfect together until we weren't. Oh no, what's gonna happen? Yeah, I also started reading this book. I read the Dear Reader, and then I closed it and I put it back on my shelf. Don't know why, but the next book that we have is, this is a book that is kind of trending on TikTok. It's Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. It's about a married couple and they're having issues and win a vacation basically, and then go to this vacation and then everything goes downhill from there and someone's gonna kill someone and only one person is gonna come out alive. This is actually one of the books that I have not read yet because I'm waiting for like a perfect moment to read this, because I don't want to rush to read this. I want to actually take my time reading it. The font is, in my opinion, I don't have any issues with this. It's beautiful. And I already looked through this book before. I wanted to know what I was getting myself into. I've looked at how many pages are in between chapters. It's not like a crazy amount where it has 20 pages in between chapters, you know? And it is The Double and The Gambler. So there's actually 2 stories in this book. It's not just one story. It's The Double and then The Gambler. My friend told me that, ooh, damn, the font is a little bit small. I feel like this would be a fast read, even though it has a small font. That's how it looks. Oh, it's a fiction literature. Okay. I don't have anything that has literature in it. So that's gonna be good. We're gonna be learning something. Is this The Great Gatsby? I've seen the movie, I've read the book in school. First, look at the cover. Look how gorgeous it is. Like, look at the detail and everything. I'm just like, oh. Then look at the back. Even the back is gorgeous. Like, you can't not tell me that it is not gorgeous. Gatsby has such a great story. Like, oh, when I did read it in my school, it was like 5.5 years ago, maybe 6, so it was like a long time ago. So I could definitely reread this, and the font is nice. It's not too big, not too small. I don't have any issues with this. Seems perfect to me. The next book that we have is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is a series, however you pronounce it. My mom said that I pronounced it wrong. And these are all the other books in the series. I actually got this book from my friend, and when I was reading the back of the book, I actually really liked it myself, so I ordered one for her and one for me. So now me and my friend are actually going to read this together and like talk about this. And this literally in the corners, to catch a serial killer you have to think like one, and I'm like, don't have to tell me twice. Cover is beautiful in my opinion. It's like a puzzle box, and then like pieces are flying off. Because font I think is great too. It's not too big, not too small. Chapters don't have a lot of pages in between them either. And do you guys break like your spines? Like, do you make your spines like have lines on them? Do you do that? If you do that, comment down below. If you don't do that, comment down below. 3 more books. Okay. Does It Hurt by H.C. Carleton. This book is basically about a girl who is trying to survive in the world. I've started reading this book actually. I read the first chapter. It seemed like a very interesting story. The writing is really good. I only have a few issues with this. The first is that you start a chapter, there's a picture on it, like a blackish, whitish picture. And when I was reading chapter 1, the words kind of blend in some parts with the background. So I was having a hard time see it because it was literally blending in with picture. That's the one issue I had. Font is fine. It's not too small, not too thick. The spacing is fine. Everything is fine with this book. It's just I was not in the mood to read. Last sentence it's not even a sentence. It's a question. It's like, it's no longer a question of who I am, but rather, will I survive? I don't know. Will you? The next book I got is Collided by Lauren Asher. Didn't realize that this is a part of a series. I thought that this was a standalone. I like the cover, read the back of it, and I'm like, oh, it's actually a very interesting book. I'm gonna get this. And before I start reading a book, I like to do like an inspection of everything. Like I look very closely to everything. I like to see the design, the details. And I turn to this side. It's the second book of this series. So now I can't start this reading. The struggle. It's a romance. Look at how the chapter is like laid out. Pretty little detail to add, you know? It's like the little text messages, how you would actually read a text message. Small little details, and every single chapter. Is that to-do list? Oh, it's it's a bucket list. Piece of paper of Eiffel Tower, right? Yeah, all of the fancy stuff. And then the last book of my TBR is Haunted by Darcy Coates. Coates? Not exactly sure how to pronounce your last name. I'm so sorry about that. And this is a pretty thick book. The main thing that drew me to this book is the cover. I judge a book by its cover. I read the back, obviously, because pick me, choose me. Chose this book. The cover, I'm obsessed with the cover. It's just such a such a pretty cover. It has so much detail. This is the back. The back is pretty plain. It's horror and fiction. The font is perfect to me. Not big, not small. This doesn't have a lot of pages in between chapters, which I also love. Even the side has a little camera. I didn't realize that. That's so pretty. Gorgeous. I love books so much. So that's it for my TBR. Ooh. I have 2 stacks and they go down. Let's see how many books this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 books. 18 books that I did not finish and 23 that I have finished. And for a while, I actually had the same amount of books that I did not finish and the books that I did finish. The first book is The Fear by Natasha Preston. Love this book. It's a thriller. The ending, for me, it kind of left me on a cliffhanger because I'm like, what's gonna happen next? But you can kind of assume what's gonna happen next, so it's going in that direction. But then, boom, you're wrong. That's basically this book. There's a meme going around the whole school. They're in high school, they're seniors. And the meme is your worst fear of dying. And everyone's reposting it, telling their worst fears. And then someone takes that person and kills them the way that they're most scared of, which is terrifying. You don't know who the person is, and you don't know who the killer is, obviously. And the main girl, her name is Izzy, she's trying to figure out who the killer is because she believes it's one of her classmates. She's doing her own investigation. Really, really enjoyed this book, and I recommend it. It was a fast read too. Her writing, in my opinion, was very good in the genre of dark romance. Pen Pal by JT. I'm not gonna pronounce the last name because I know I'm gonna butcher it so badly, but this is the last name. When I read the back of this book, it was very interesting to me. There's I'll wait forever if I have to, and then like she's like, who are you waiting for? And he's like, you. So I'm like, oh, this random person is waiting for her. Why is he waiting for her? What is the story? Do they know each other? First few chapters gave me a little shock. I was like, whoa, what is happening here? In the middle of this book, I was like, ooh, okay, I like this. It's very interesting because this book involves like romance, a little bit of scary parts in it, like involving ghosts. The ending of this book, was not expecting the ending. I'm literally getting goosebumps just talking about this book. It wasn't very dark romance. It was just a lot of smut, spicy stuff. It has like sprayed edges, and I'll wait forever if I have to. The font is fine. It doesn't have a lot of pages in between chapters. I'm gonna give it a rating. This book, I'm giving this 5 out of 5 because that doesn't happen very often to me. I only have few books that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I cannot stop thinking about it when I put it down. This one, I'm gonna give it I'll give it 3.5 because the ending was like, whoa. So next book is The Rumor by Leslie Cara. Oh my gosh. Oh, I was obsessed with this book. Like I read this book probably in 2 days. That's fast. In my opinion, that's fast. And it has like, the writing is fine. It's not too big or too small. Like there's no issues with it. I could not put it down. The twists in this were perfect. The ending was amazing. Oh my gosh, I want to know what's gonna happen. Like you just want to, oh, I'm giving this 5 out of 5. One by One, Frida McFadden. This book was actually really good. I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 again, not because I couldn't stop thinking about it when I put it down, but because it was such a fast read and because the story was so good and you could not have guessed who is the killer. Even if you tried, you just can't. You cannot guess. It was such a good read. It was so many twists that you would not be expecting. The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. This book was okay. I thought it would be a lot more, and I thought it would be more twists and more of like secrets and more spooky stuff, but I'm gonna give it a 3.5 because it did not deliver the way that I expected it to deliver. It was a fast read too. The ending was good, but also not that good. An Abundance of Catherines. This book, John Green. I actually read this book in middle school. Did I ever finish? Why is this folded? I don't think I ever finished the book. And basically this boy dates girls and they're all named Catherines. 19 Catherines and counting, like coincidence. Like he's not doing it on purpose. It just kind of happens that he falls in love with these girls and they're named Catherine. It's like the first book that I read and I was like, oh my gosh, reading is actually fun. Why did I not start reading sooner? I might reread this book. I might have to put it in my TBR. So I'm gonna put that in my TBR actually. The next book that we have is Credence by Penelope Douglas. Penelope Douglas. My opinion on this book is I loved it. But I remember reading it and I was just like that for the whole time. Like what? Her writing, the Penelope's writing is so good. Like this book, I'm giving this a 5 out of 5. Actually, the main girl's name, I could not pronounce it for the life of me. I just say get the book if you like romance, if you like a little spice. It's actually contemporary romance. Amazing book. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10, a 5 out of 5. It's Looking for Alaska by John Green. There's actually a show about this. I think it's on Hulu. The show came out and I watched the show and I was like, oh my gosh, the show is so good. Like, I actually really like the show. And when I read this, oh my gosh, such a good book. The ending left me questioning everything. It has such a great writing, such a great story. The characters in the book are so relatable and mature, and the book was like fun, sad. It had a little bit of everything. Like, I recommend getting this book. It's a 5 out of 5 in my opinion. The cover is, it's just plain black cover with a little bit of smoke, but it's just so pretty. Like, don't even. And then this is the back, very plain and simple. Layla by Colleen Hoover. I put it down, I sat down, and I was like, what did I just read? The fucking twist. Oh my gosh. This is why I love this book so much. Even though it's Colleen Hoover and I know she's a little iffy, but this book was actually really good. And I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 5. This is how the cover looks like. This book literally has everything in it. Another Colleen Hoover. It Ends With Us. Wow, this book is really heavy. I did not realize how heavy this is. Every single person liked it. They fell in love with it. It talks about real stuff that a lot of real women go through. And I recommend reading it because it has such a great storytelling. And this one is Tell Me Lies. It's a Hulu show by Carola Lovering. That's the name, because the cover is really pretty and it's like tell me lies, and then it crosses the lies over and it says you love me, you need me, I'm yours, it's not over, you'll change. The book pissed me off. I was getting really mad and I was getting annoyed reading this because I'm like, this girl is literally so stupid. Like, I was getting so pissed at her, and the only reason I finished this book is because I cannot start a book and not finish it. It just drives me crazy. So I'm gonna give this book a 2.5 because yes, it has a great storytelling. Yes, this happens in real life to a lot of women and a lot of young girls, but how dumb are you to not realize what he's doing to you? That's all I gotta say about this. And we've all been there. So Penelope Douglas again, and that's 5 brothers. And the reason I got this book is because I like Credence so much, or Credence, however you say it. It was not what I was expecting, that's for sure, but it was a good read. I will say that. I think that it was just like so long, and I was like, why is it so long and so thick? It was a happy ending. The 5 brothers, 1 girl. You can think whatever you want to think with that caption. A series. Actually, me and my friend were supposed to read the series together and like talk about this, and we started doing that. We read the first book together and we talked about it. We liked it. The first book is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. It's about rich billionaires, CEOs. This specific book reminded me of Disneyland, and like it just reminded me of like the owner of Disneyland and the people that work there, basically. The good romance, I would say. Spicy stuff happens there. They get their happy ending. 3 books do get their happy ending. One of the main reasons why I like this book, it's Terms and Conditions are Declan and Iris. This book was a little bit boring in my opinion because I can't remember what happens in this book. And it's not like I read this a long time ago. I read this pretty recently. The Final Offer, the last book of the series. Love this book. I cried, I laughed, I was happy, I was angry, all of my emotions were in this book. Like, I really, really liked this book. I liked Callahan and I liked Alana. Callahan, the man that he is, bro, like, oh my gosh, he went through so much. Lost the girl that he loved the most because of his actions, because he used to drink a lot, he didn't know how to control himself, he was very impulsive, very negative vibes. He has to meet her again. That in his contract, if he wants to become like a billionaire. Oh, my cat is with me. Fix everything with her, but it's not gonna be that easy because she's not just any woman that's gonna forgive him, you know? And there's a child in this book, not their child. I mean, it's her child, but not his child. I cried a lot during this book, and I usually don't cry when I read. This book actually, like, there were tears coming out of my eyes when reading The Final Offer. And my friend put me on this series actually because of her. I've read all of these books, and it's that Twisted series by Anna Won. Amazing. Amazing. I'll tell you, I'm not even gonna tell you what the books are about because I'm sure you can find so many videos on TikTok, wherever you go, about these books. I'll tell you my opinions on this. Twisted Love. This is how it looks. This is the back. This is the side. The font, amazing. No issues with the font. Reading very easily, not too thick. Is a good book. Yeah, so we have Twisted Lies. We got Twisted Hate. Twisted Games. Twisted Hate is my favorite because it's enemies to lovers. All of these books are really good, but this is my number one. I think Twisted Lies would be my second favorite one. Twisted Love would be my third, and then Twisted Games, which is this one, would be my fourth. And the only reason I say that is because Twisted Hate is enemies to lovers, and enemies to lovers is my favorite type of romance to read. It was such a good book. Then we have Twisted Lies. I like this because of the girl. I connected with the girl a lot, and I liked her energy and her vibes and how she made him change. I mean, all of these girls made the guys change, obviously, but the way that she made him change, and like, it was just such a good book. Who her stalker is, because this girl has a stalker, but I was wrong. Then we have Twisted Love. It's like the first book, like, of course it's gonna be a good book. It's just such a good book. This whole series is so good. The Twisted Games, it was kind of boring to me. I kind of blacked out, but I also think reason why I didn't like this game is because it's like queens and kings and like their protocol and all of that stuff. It's just not my type of style. I just don't like that. And it's gonna be funny because the next book is Queen Bee. Amalia? I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. The reason why I like this book is because it reminded me very much of Bridgerton, like the scene, the setup, everything was Bridgerton vibes, but it was revenge. The girl is getting revenge, and what happened to her in the past is such a good story, and like what she goes through. It's not just about any rich girl that has all the money. No, she had that and then she lost that, and now she's trying to get that again and get revenge on all the people that did her wrong. The ending was so good because she falls in love with someone. That's all I gotta say. It's the summer turned pretty serious. I don't have a lot to say about the series. I would prefer to watch the show and not just read the books at all. I felt like I was reading a middle school love, and she was going between brothers. Like, my guy, pick one and stick with one. Those are all of my books. It's my mini little library. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed all of the books that I showed you. I hope that you get one of these books that I showed you that you have not read yet, and I hope that you enjoy it. If you have read any of the books that I read and you have a different opinion on the books, then let me know. We can discuss it, we can talk about it, because I would like to hear your opinion. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!